Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Tim Cyclesman Wood, editor of Cycles News and Views on Cyclesman.com. Welcome back to the show, Tim.
And Jim, thanks as always for having me.
And hopefully Hurricane Delta decides to give you a pass after Sally visited 2 weeks ago.
Boy, we've had a heck of a season this year, hadn't we? Yeah, I think it's going, I don't mean to wish it on anyone else, but I do think it's going another direction. So hopefully we'll be good there.
I expect to see your face on one of the ads for your own at-home power generator any day now.
Lord, I tell you what, I am so glad I had taken preparations with generator and converted it to natural gas and had my stuff, and everybody else was running around. And I knock on wood, I don't say that as a demeaning kind of way. I just, I got a generator and did my thing, and because I knew we lived in Hurricane Alley, and we finally got one, and it was I can't imagine not having one. A lot of people were unprepared, running around trying to get generators. And you know what people don't think about? I thought this was kind of funny, actually. We were talking about sense of humor before we came on, but people running around buying generators at the last minute, and they don't think about, well, if you need that generator and you need fuel for the generator. If you need the generator, you can't buy gas at the gas stations because they're down too. And there was, in this whole area, there's like one station for a couple of days that you could get gas, and the line to that station, they showed it on TV, and it was like miles and miles. It was insane to wait for gasoline.
Yeah. Also, when the power goes out, the automated teller machines don't work either. So if you don't have some cash on hand, you can't get anything. You can't get gas. You can't get food.
Right. There's no food. There's no gas. If you don't have gas in your tank, and if you don't have a generator. And so, yeah, I had a little natural gas generator, and it saved our bacon. It was hot. We had air. I could watch a little bit of news on the TV and see what was going on. And so we were good.
My family was so prepared. We actually had a little black and white TV set on the farm that ran off car batteries.
Wow, never seen that.
Well, there you go. That's hell. Kids now, if they see a black and white TV, what is that? How is that? Why do old people talk about color TVs? What other kind is there?
You know what was actually kind of good about the whole thing, and see if you can relate to this. You go 2, 3, 4 days where you get lost. It's kind of like a holiday where you like, okay, what day is this? Is this Thursday? You kind of lose track of time. And you get your mind, we had a TV, I could get basic weather, but that was all I was watching, but you didn't see everything else. You didn't see anything about the politics, you didn't see anything about the COVID, you didn't see anything about anything, and you're cleaning up your yard, you're cutting trees, you're doing whatever it is you're doing, and just, you get lost in the moment of all that, and all the other stuff doesn't exist. Literally, you turn your TV off, and it's like old times. It's like, there are no problems. What are you talking about?
I know people make fun of preppers, as they're called, but I think anybody should have something. I live in an earthquake zone, and we also get power failures from massive wind and rainstorms, just like you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw it. I observed this sort of thing. People that didn't have prescriptions, people didn't have fuel, people didn't have food. When the power goes out for an extended period of time, everything is down.
Yeah. And speaking of, if things go down, should people be prepped for perhaps a major correction or even a crash in the markets again? Because October, November traditionally is when you see that.
Well, you're right. And, we've been at a cyclical turn point. The expectation has been for everything to kind of peak in close proximity and when I say everything, I mean equities, crude oil, commodities, gold, even crypto and et cetera. And that's what we've seen. We have seen that. We've seen a little bit of a turn in all of the above. This turn, it first tried to kind of take hold back in late July, but it didn't quite set up. We got this last little push up into the end of, the first part of September. And then it's been trying to set up and try to turn since then. And yes, we have seen the intermediate, in my world, an intermediate degree cycle top in equities and gold. We should have the intermediate term cycle top in crude oil and the CRB. And, we should have an intermediate term low in the dollar. Well, that was all setting up. Everything's been at this juncture. And so while equities and such have been topping, the dollar's been moving into a low. We've had bonds. The long end has been moving into some, intermediate degree lows. I'm not sure we're there yet on bonds. We're close on the timing, but there may be another little push down. So on the long end, that decline into those cycle lows has given us a little bit of a pop on the longer end on bonds, a little bit of pop on interest rates. And, what develops now? Do we get a higher degree, set up with a higher degree cycles turning in conjunction with this intermediate term cycle? That's the test at hand. And you're right. The seasonality seems like that October is a notorious month. So does something more set up here? That's what we're watching. That's the structure, that will guide us if we do see such things set up. Crude oil, I think, is probably also, flirting with some higher degree cycle tops. And, if we have the intermediate term top there. And then with gold, we also should be, at that 9-year cycle top. This intermediate term top that's in place is another opportunity for that 9-year cycle top. So there's a potential for another higher degree cycle, top to set up there. As far as a reinflation of the economy, I don't see anything. I mean, I don't see it. Equity prices are holding, I say holding up. We have this turn trying to take place. Nothing's really cracked yet, but we're in that turn window, if you will. But so they're kind of levitating is what I'm saying. Nothing drastic has happened yet, but I don't see any signs of a reinflation with the economy. Commodity prices, again, they're trying to roll a little bit too here. We've seen interest rates, remaining low on the short end. Again, we've had a little bit of a pop because of the cycles on the longer end. The jobs report sucked, and there's no evidence of credit expansion. And the Fed just keeps gaming the market and trying to keep the cattle calm.
We'll have more with Tim Cyclesman Wood right after this.
AtHome Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, AtHome's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at AtHomeResources.com.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Tim Cyclesman Wood. Tim, one of the questions a lot of people are asking is the U.S. government going to have a new stimulus program in place before the election in November?
I don't know. I know that has obviously become the new on-again, off-again tool for the market. Remember we talked about, I'm pretty sure we talked about it, the China deal. Remember we got a trade deal. No, we don't have a trade deal. Oh, it was phase 1. Oh, it's phase 2. Oh, it's off the board. No, it's back. And it was just, that went on. They wore that out for 18 months or so. It was comical. And all that was, we've talked about the manipulation and how we got here. And all that was, just manipulation. Pure, outright manipulation. And that's what we're seeing now with the talk. That's, I think we talked about it in an interview or two ago about Powell. All of a sudden, he had the meeting in Jackson Hole, and they're going to let inflation run high, and they're going to not cut rates, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. And now, no trade deal. Oh, we got a trade. not a trade deal, a stimulus package. No, we don't. Yes, we do. It's all an effort to game and hold equity prices. But, as far as the stimulus itself, what is a $1,200 check going to matter to anybody? I mean, it's not fixing the underlying problem. That's how we got here. And, you look at the economic data, and this has been, it sounds like a broken record at this point, but the weakest recovery since the Great Depression coming out of the 2009 low, and that began to crack back in January, February, and now we have a alleged recovery from the crack out of the greatest downturns, or the worst recovery since the Great Depression. So, they're trying to keep things together, and equity prices, as we talked about, as we moved into the top back in 1819, we talked about how equity prices is the cover. And I was just reading and looking at some quotes from some of the politicians and talking heads and so forth, and they always point to the stock market as the cover. That's the cover. See, the economy's great because the market's good. And it couldn't be further from the truth. And so it's just, they continue to be able to hold it with, call it what it is, with the propaganda.
Well, of course, if you're, a lot of families, as they say in surveys in both Canada and the U.S., they're either $200 or $400 away from disaster. So perhaps $1,200 would keep them from going over the cliff for at least another month. But again, as you said, that cliff isn't going away.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That was my point. Exactly.
Yeah. We'll have more with Tim Cyclesman Wood right after the break.
Value from success, growth, and discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Tim Cyclesman Wood. Tim, have any stimulus programs in past recessions, depressions made any difference in the long term? Should companies that were on the brink of bankruptcy go into bankruptcy and then let somebody who has the resources pick up the pieces and carry on with that particular company if they have any future in a changed economy?
That's kind of the camp I'm in, is let the market be the market. Let the marketplace be the marketplace. If I understand the concept of too big to fail, but then I think that there has to be some limitations to that. And this thing of bailing out every bank and every, large company because of, they spent their excess cash buying back stock and making poor economic decisions or financial decisions and then bail them out. No, of course, that's, I think that goes too far. Will this stimulus package work? I don't think so. I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, did QE1 work? Did QE2 work? Did QE3 work? Did the non-QE work? Did QE4? I mean, when is enough enough? None of it's worked. They're still fighting the same battle. And yes, equity prices have held, but they keep trying to crack, and nothing has changed.
Well,
So
I keep being told it's only 4 or 5 major stocks that are keeping the whole stock market up. If you take out Apple and Netflix and Microsoft and Amazon, what do you got left?
right, and if you look beneath the surface, as we moved into this intermediate term top, I have proxy stuff that I look at, and I have, some, key leading stocks and different things that I look at, some indexes and stuff that I've created to look at the cycles that kind of lead. And yes, you can see that, and that's what it does. It looks under the surface, and, it goes back to what I said a while ago. The S&P, the Dow, the high flyers, they're cover for the rot that is happening under the surface.
Tim, is there a good strategy to deal with a market that we don't know if it's going to be stimulated again or not? Is there a survival strategy you think would be good for somebody?
I think, as my old buddy Kennedy Gamage used to say, it's just a time to dance close to the door and understand the environment that we're in. And from my seat, I know that structure is everything. And just like, back in February, we saw the structure, put it in the research letter and short-term updates in print. We knew what was happening when it set up. And, we know the environment we operate in. And so I get on here and we talk about that bigger picture environment, but from my seat, structure, and at some point, I don't know when, but, we have an intermediate term cycle top here in place. Does something more develop? So from my seat, understanding market structure and understanding that we're not seeing a reinflation of the economy as a guide to know the environment that we're in, using some Dow theory, using, that market structure. To me, that's everything. That's the key. And then, because what that's going to tell us, the very basis of technical analysis is that everything is discounted into price. If it's good, if it's bad, doesn't matter. Everything's discounted into price. So everything, at the end of the day, as they say, everything is discounted or reflective in that price bar. So if you understand, and you can have some statistics, and you understand the structure that price bar collectively prints every day, and the cyclical setup, that's the guide. And, the thing that we have seen with the so-called manipulation with the news and any and all methods possible is that we'll get to a sticky point, the market will try to set up, and then you get a tweet or first one thing or another, and then it never materializes, and so you never get the structure. So I don't know when, but just like in February, I do remember us talking about this. I said that because the market was so stretched, there was only one way it was going to crack, and that was going to be that it was going to come seemingly out of nowhere, that it was going to happen quick, and that that structure was key. And that's exactly what happened. We got a series of in my world, left translated cycles, and bada bing, bada boom, it fell into place very quickly. Being able to identify it was key. And it did crack quickly. And I think that's the only way you're going to break that you're going to break it. The only way it's going to break is in the same sort of fashion. And so that's what I do, is look at the market structure, and I think that's the best we have.
What about the people who feel that gold is the only safe haven?
I understand the, the basis for the statement. But just like in 2007, 8, gold went down, just like equities did. When the liquidation begins, it all goes together. And look at what's happening here. I said that I thought that everything was going to set up to try to go down together. And like I said, we haven't seen a big crack. We just got a minor crack at this point. But, look at what's happened. Gold has softened, crude oil has softened, equities have softened, even the cryptos have softened. So everything is trying to set up to go down together. We saw that back in March, and we're going to see that again. And so I understand people saying and thinking that, but if you look at reality, that's not what we're seeing. Because when the liquidation begins, It's across the board. Plus, from a cyclical perspective, we have those longer-term cycle tops that are trying to take hold in the metals, and we have all the underlying technical issues that I've talked about with this 9-year cycle advance. So, no, I don't think gold is going to be a safe haven this time.
Tim, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you.
My guest has been Tim Cyclesman Wood, editor of Cycles News and Views on cyclesman.com. If you have any questions for Tim, you can send them to info@housestreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HouseStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HouseStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HouseStreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.